Hi there, welcome to No Nonsense Whisky. My name's Vin PF, and on today's episode we've got another Sample Saturday for you, and this time I've got the great fortune of covering another local distillery to me. English whisky is going through the roof right now. I'm very happy to be a massive supporter of English whisky where I can be, covering as much of it as I can. I know that these English videos aren't going to kind of reach the same sort of heights as Scotch videos, but I'm hoping that me being in the position that I am, I can help accelerate English whisky forward. Now, this time today we've got a brand new distillery. Really, you know, they've only just got whisky themselves, so they've actually been laying casks 2021. We'll get into that in a minute. But this is the West Midlands Distillery, sometimes styled as WMD. And yeah, they've sent me over these little samples here. I've got 2 new makes and 1 aged whiskey. I think it's a whiskey. We'll have to double check on the notes that I've got to see where we're at with it. But yeah, let's delve into it and see what we've actually got. I'm going to pour these. Literally, I've never tried these before. We'll talk about it as I'm pouring. Interestingly enough, I've got the 2 new makes I've got. They are different yeast strains. We've got a Voss and a Hopnindal. I mean, I don't know much about yeast. I'm not going to sit here and bang about the differences in those, but we'll see if my palate can discern the difference. Ooh, that smells good. 63% these 2 are, and the other one is 63.1, I want to say. So yeah, let's tip these in here. I mean, these are the wrong kind of glasses to use for this, really, because this is high strength stuff we're going on about today. But nevertheless, so that was the first one. I've laid these out like this, but I'm going to move them around a bit so that I remember the order. I mean, I'm literally cracking the seal. There you go. You know what these Sample Saturday videos are like. They're very, I always say unprofessional, but they're very unedited at least. You know, maybe give myself a little bit of credit for some professionality. And then here we've got, if this is an ex-bourbon, we'll go into that. Now, the reason why I have these, I was invited down to a little shindig of theirs, but I couldn't make it on the day, unfortunately. It's although it's fairly local to me, to get there and be able to drink, it's still a bit of a trek. But at the time, it was on a weekend, and I couldn't quite make it from family commitments. So they kindly agreed to send some of the drams that they were sharing amongst peers there, which I thought was pretty good. Now, a little bit of history about these guys. Nothing major. I'm not going to go into it in too great detail. Hopefully, you'll just follow them. There'll be links in the description below for their website and their socials. So hopefully, you'll follow them and they'll be on your radar at least. Because, you know, especially you guys in the States and whatnot, you're not going to be seeing these guys for a long old time. But yeah, at least they'll be on your radar. You can follow along. I can literally smell these below here. I mean, I love new make anyway. These are going straight up on my new make library. Okay, so yeah, they've been going for a couple of years now. They actually started laying casks down in 2021. So obviously now, as of August at least, they do have a whiskey, which I think is this. You know, as always, very unprofessionally check my notes. Yeah, from cask number 1. I've got their cask number 1 sample here. So this is 3 years old. So it is whiskey. And apparently it's 64.6%, which is nuts. They've said I can find the sweet spot on dilution. I won't be doing that. Actually, I do have a pipette, so maybe we'll do that. You know, let's not beat around the bush. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting, this is. I've never tried 2 different new makes from the same distillery using different yeasts before, so that'll be interesting. Okay. Yeah, so obviously they've got whiskey now, but what they've said to me is that they're not looking at releasing that until probably next year, around June, July, summertime next year. So that is everything I need to know about these guys. You know, they're not just trying to get stuff out as soon as possible. They want to make sure that it's ready. And that sort of date that I've just given there, if it's not ready then, they won't put it out then. If it's ready before, I guess maybe they'll look at it. But they'll be keeping an eye on these casks now. They must have a couple. They said to me that they've got 4 other casks they're monitoring for a potential first release. So it might not even be this cask number 1 that comes out first. It depends on how they go. Don't know what they're maturing. I imagine, I mean, they've got quite a small still, so I imagine they're not risking too much stock on fancy casks yet. But again, what do I know? I didn't manage to go down there. Okay, enough wittering. Let's get into these new makes and we'll have a little go. So the first one then is a Voss. Obviously, you know, I can show you, but it's clear, right? So this is a Voss yeast. Now, actually, what I'm going to do, I'm probably going to do these simultaneously because there's no point me nosing, tasting, and then rinsing and then doing this. I want to discern differences. So let's do that. Oh man, as with most new make, the nose is mega floral. I mean, no hints of faints in there whatsoever. Let's have a little sniff. I've been saying, what did I say? Hopnindle. I don't know how to pronounce that properly. Oh, okay. So this is the Voss. This is the Hopnindle. Now this is what I would consider to be what like typical new make, which is very, let's say typical. I don't mean that in a negative way. It's like very floral, very very nose friendly. This one, not quite as floral, not quite as sweet. Has a bit more kind of dankness to it, which is really interesting. Both fantastic. But this one, I mean, if I was going to really give it some stupid tasting notes, this one I would consider walking through like a spring garden, very vibrant, very very floral. This one is almost like walking through either a late summer garden or early autumn. So I'm not talking about like mulchy leaves or anything like that, but I'm talking about there's still a bit of floral knocking around, but there's an earthiness to it that's coming with it. Ooh. I think I prefer the floral one on the nose. Okay, let's try a little bit of this. Okay. Wow, there was a lot to unpick on that. It just went all the way through. Right, I'm just absolutely salivating now. I mean, obviously 63%, that's strong. So, loads of floral as I expected. Obviously very spirit heavy. The cool thing about that is, I mean, the ABV doesn't seem to be kicking me in the face, which is awesome. I love that. That means a nice, well-rounded spirit. And you're getting all those lovely biscuity cereal notes at the end. If you've ever been to a distillery, you'll know when you walk in when they're producing and you can smell it in the air. That's what I'm getting from this, because that's obviously non-aged spirit that's up in the air. Okay, again, I'm not going to cleanse. I'm just going to go straight into this one and see what we get. Oh, wow, okay. Wow, that's really odd. The reason why that's odd, yeah, exactly as I said on the nose. It's not as floral, it's not as vibrant. But for some reason, I'm getting a sense of wood from it, which is obviously impossible. This hasn't seen wood at all. But that kind of like that tannic element to it, that earthiness, I don't know really how to convey that, because obviously there's no wood in any way, shape or form from this. But that earthiness that's coming through to give me those tannic elements, that herbalness, that's really bleeding through. Fascinating. I would say, off the cuff remark, I prefer the nose on the Voss and the palate on the Hopnindle. Very interesting. I like that. And obviously that's completely irrelevant to you guys, because you're never going to get, well, I say never, you might get to try their new make if you ever go and visit them, but, worldwide audience and all that. Let's have a quick cleanse. Okay, now what I've got here, a sample of our whiskey from cask number 1, Heaven's Hills Maturation, so ex-bourbon. I imagine from that it's difficult to say, to be fair. I imagine it's first fill, because otherwise he'd probably just say refill bourbon cask. But that said, after 3 years, it's still fairly light on colour. Ooh, okay. 3 years, don't know exactly when, probably that August. So, where am I sitting now? So this is the middle of September, but this would probably been bottled at time of when the event happened, which was in August. I've been sitting on this for a couple of weeks now. Okay, I've been on the nose, so let's just go for it. Fascinating. Does not smell like either of those new makes, which, you know, fair. Still quite light, still quite floral. Do you know what? I'm going to have to do my normal thing. I'm going to have to try the palate first and then come back to the nose. One sec. Oh. That is tidy. Okay. God damn. Okay, right. Nose. Yeah, okay, so there's obviously quite a lot of alcohol on this, so the nose, I didn't give it a lot of time, and I'm using a very thin glass, so it's obviously quite heavy on spirit. It's got a little bit of that kind of creme brulee, not much, just a little bit. For me, I'm getting kind of like pear drops, but like fizzy pear drops somehow, sugar-coated pear drops. I don't know if that's even a thing, but that's kind of the vibe I'm getting off this. Yeah, it's quite light on the nose. Let's go back to that palate. God damn, that's good. I mean that's like ludicrously high on ABV. I'll be surprised if I don't start going red in the cheek immediately. But like, I don't know, man. Like huge amounts of creme brulee. Again, that pear note coming through, nicely mingled in with a bit of wood. Do you know what? I've got my pipette. Let's add a few drops because I'm expecting this to open up. Not too much. I just want to do it a little bit at a time. Whoa, that looks good. Give that a chance to mix in. You know, as we know, water and ethanol is fully miscible. Good word. Look it up. Let's go back. Oh, I just noticed the legs on that. That is like thick and oily. Okay, right. That really helps the nose. Still the same, you know, that kind of creme brulee, vanillas, bit of wood, but it's made them a lot softer. Palate. Oh, it's like, I don't know, it's everything I love about ex-bourbon cask. You know, like I said, vanillas, creme brulee, including that kind of the burnt caramel crust on that, definitely there. Just enough wood to make a difference, but not to hide the kind of base spirit character, which you know I love that kind of thing. Oh, where I brought that down to the ABV, it has made it better in my opinion. I still liked it at the high ABV, but I mean, what I brought it down to there, it can't have been, it must be 60 or ever so slightly less than 60. But I am very impressed with that. Very impressed. What a beaut. Okay, enough positivity maybe. You know me, I like to be positive. But genuinely excited about that. Like it's so good. Now, I mean, obviously they could put that out now. So if they're expecting that to be better in a year, then more power to them. But that's brilliant. Love it. You know, I have to say, probably wouldn't be for everybody because I know not everybody likes that really high ABV. I'm well into that. Give me 55, 60, you know, more, and I'm a happy boy. Especially because then I can mess around with it. I know not everyone's into that, so those people would not be deterred by that at all because that's a very high spirit impact. But yeah, super impressed. Very gutted I didn't get to go down there now, but they have given me an open invite. So when I do get my act together, I will go down there and we will have a video made and we'll sort of make some content about the actual distillery itself. But yeah, hopefully, like I said, now they're on your radar. I don't think I could be more enthusiastic about that if I tried. But like I said, genuinely my first taste of all of these. Really, really good stuff. Excited. Get them on your radar. They're on mine. I'll see you again on more videos soon. Cheers.